So, if you're in the construction industry, you have definitely seen this happen. A really critical local project, a road, a bridge, gets talked about for years, and then poof, it just vanishes. But at the same time, some other project just sails right through the approval process. What's the deal? Well, stick with me because we're about to solve that exact puzzle.
It's the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? Why does one proposed project get the green light and the funding, while another one that seems just as important just disappears into thin air? But here's the thing. It's not random. Not at all. There's a hidden logic to it, a process. And once you get how that process works, you can stop just reacting and actually start anticipating.
Every single government project is basically caught in this giant tug of war. On one side, you've got this bottom-up pressure. These are the real, on-the-ground, immediate needs of a local town or a city. And on the other side, you've got the top-down strategy, the big-picture national goals. The real magic, the projects that actually get built, they're the ones that somehow manage to satisfy both sides. Okay, let's break this down. What do these two forces, top-down and bottom-up, actually look like in the real world? It's really important to get crystal clear on the difference between a project that starts from the ground up versus one that comes from the very top.
Bottom-up planning. This is where the real need is born. This isn't some national agency in a far-off office just dreaming up a project. No, this is a local community, a barangay, a city council raising its hand and saying, hey, we have a problem right here, right now, and it needs a solution.
I mean, just think about the kind of projects we're talking about here. The really essential stuff. A new road that finally lets farmers get their crops to market before they spoil. A brand new set of classrooms to replace ones that are old and overcrowded. Or, a basic water system for a community that's been waiting for generations. These are the projects that come directly from the real challenges of everyday life. Right, now let's flip the coin. Let's look at the view from the top. See, national agencies like the Department of Economy, Planning, and Development, DPDev, they're not sweating the details of one village's water problem. Nope. They're looking at a map of the entire country and asking, where do we need to invest our money to grow the entire economy? And yeah, their priorities are these huge, big picture goals. Think about massive national programs like Build Better More, or creating these sweeping national tourism road networks, or expanding digital infrastructure across the country. These are the big, strategic umbrellas that all those little local projects need to find a way to fit under. And this is the secret sauce for this whole section. A project that only solves a local problem, it can just get lost in all the noise. But a project that solves that same local problem and perfectly lines up with a major national goal, that is the project that gets noticed. That's the one that gets put on the fast track. It's the perfect blend. So, how does a great local idea prove that it's that perfect blend? Well, it has to pass a whole series of really tough alignment tests. You should think of it like a gauntlet, a series of checkpoints on the long, long road to getting funded, and it has to clear every single one. The first and the biggest hurdle is the Philippine Development Plan, or the PDP. This thing is the master plan for the whole country, put together by DEPDP. Look, if your local road project can't somehow tie into a major national goal in the PDP, like, say, boosting economic growth, it's pretty much dead on arrival. Okay, so let's say a project clears that huge national hurdle. Now the lens zooms in. Every single region has its own Regional Development Council, the RDC, and their job is to translate those big national goals into a specific regional development plan. So that road project, it doesn't just have to fit the national strategy. It has to be a top priority for its specific region, too. And next up, we get down to the nitty-gritty, the most practical check of them all, local zoning. Every project has to comply with a comprehensive land use plan, or CLUP. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? You can't propose a new factory road right through an area that's been zoned for residential houses. It's a basic but absolutely critical reality check. And that brings us to the final gatekeeper. The project has to be officially listed in the local government's own agenda, something like its city development plan. This is the ultimate proof that the mayor, the city council, they are all 100% behind it. It's the final local stamp of approval. So, a project has a real local need, it lines up perfectly with national priorities, and it's passed every single planning test. Fantastic! But now comes the real battle, the journey through the national budgeting machine. This is a political and financial obstacle course.
It all starts as a proposal, right? But the first huge win is getting included in the National Expenditure Program. That's the president's official budget. But it's not safe yet. Oh no. It then has to survive some really intense debates and reviews in Congress before, if it's lucky, it makes it into the final law, the General Appropriations Act.
And let's be absolutely clear about this. The General Appropriations Act, or the GAA, is everything. This is not just a plan or a proposal anymore. The GAA is the law. It's the law that says the money for this project is approved. Go build it. For any contractor listening right now, this is the finish line of the funding race. All right, so the money's there. The government's marathon is over. And now the spotlight swings right over to you. This is where you, the contractor, finally enter the picture. This is your moment.
So, the GAA becomes law, and the funds are officially in the bank. The big question is, what happens next? This is that critical handoff, the point where the opportunity moves from the government planning offices to you, the private construction sector.
Well, this is what kicks off the whole procurement phase. The government agency in charge will post the project for public bidding on PhilJEPs. That's the government's official online portal. The whole thing is governed by the Government Procurement Reform Act, RA 9184. And when you see that posting pop up, that's it. That's the starting gun. Your company can finally officially submit its bid. So why on earth did we just walk through that entire complex journey? The reason we went through all of that whole complicated process, is simple. Because understanding it gives you a massive, massive strategic advantage. This last part is all about turning that knowledge into a real-world opportunity for your business. I mean, just think about the power this gives you. You can look at a dozen local proposals and actually predict which 2 or 3 have a real shot at getting national funding. You can proactively align your company's skills with the government's biggest priorities, so you become the go-to firm for, say, tourism roads. You can even start conversations with local leaders while they're still hashing out their proposals. It all boils down to this. You can set your company up to win, long before anyone else even knows there's a race. And that really brings us to the final thought here. You see, most contractors just wait. They wait for a project to be announced. But with this knowledge, you don't have to wait. You can anticipate, you can prepare, and you can align your business with the projects of tomorrow. So I'll leave you with this question. Are you going to be the contractor who waits for the bid to drop, or are you going to be the one who's already shaping the future?